Alright, so like I always do with these videos, it's important that I lay out the ground rules here first so we're all on the same page for the rest of this discussion. So when it comes to Hades and Hajun, I'm gonna start it off by talking about just their base forms, right? And this pretty much applies only to Hades before he uses Desmos, since I'm not going to be talking about Zero here for this fight, and of course all of this is just to imagine the fight as realistically to what it could have looked like in the manga. And maybe that sounds contradictory since we know Zero was necessary for Hajun to come back in the way that he did, but for the sake of this discussion, we're just gonna suspend our disbelief and consider it as Hades versus Hajun in peak form without Zero. So I think when it comes to Hades versus Hajun, one of the most difficult things I had to consider here was their durability, because it's like they're just straight up tanks, and I'm gonna quickly give you an example here for both of them so you know what I mean. Alright, so starting with Hajun, if you go back to his fight against Buddha, you'll notice Buddha fights him for the most part with his third realm, and if you look at how he fought against Zero with it, he was able to easily dodge and go for the attack while using the third realm, after Zero uses the Misery Cleaver Storm formation. So against Zero, Buddha's third realm proves to be relatively effective, but the most he can do with it against Hajun is just barely stay in the fight. There's even a moment when Hajun becomes too much for Buddha, so he just kicks himself away from him. And this is all happening while Buddha's still using his third realm, while Hajun's still just testing out his newfound strength. And I know I mentioned I was going to talk about Hajun's durability here, but it's important that I explain this part first so you can notice how overwhelming he is against one of Buddha's most effective forms of attack. Because later during the fight, we're seeing him having to take on Buddha's fifth realm, and not only is he able to just tank Buddha's best attack on his arm and without even losing it, he's then able to counter Buddha by doing more damage here when he stabs him through his side. And we can't forget, Buddha depends so much on his future vision to use any of his realms as effectively as he should, so you could argue that had he never gotten his future vision back, he most likely could not have ended the fight with Mahaparinirvana, because future vision literally places Buddha at the right place at the right time. So even with the Great Nirvana sword, it's hard to say for sure if Buddha could have found exactly where he needed to cut Hajun to end the fight without future vision, because again, not even his fifth realm was enough to just cut his arm off. So to counter Hajun's durability, it took Buddha's future vision combined with one solid attack here from the Great Nirvana sword, because there was nothing any of his staff realms could do to really press him. And naturally, his strength is so overwhelming that his durability isn't the only issue. He was also able to hurt Buddha so many times despite Buddha just trying to stay alive, like when he stabbed him through his side or through his foot. I mean, there's even a time after Buddha has the Great Nirvana sword that we see Hajun still able to overwhelm him with his strength alone, so you can notice his durability and strength are his special abilities. Alright, so moving on to Hades here. There's ultimately a lot more to mention since he had the longer fight, so naturally there's a lot more to back up what his durability and strength have over Hajun's. And one of my favorite examples of this is when Chin used his halberd form to kick and eventually tear the flesh off the right side of Hades' arm, because not only does it do real damage, but we actually don't see Hades use his right arm for the rest of the fight, even after he activated Desmos. He's only controlling his spear with his left arm for the rest of the fight. And before Chin uses his halberd form, we had saw Hades take Chin's armor form and spear form on two separate occasions, so the damage he's taking from the halberd form is only so much more on top of everything else he was dealing with. But as we saw later on, Hades was then able to use Ichor Eos 3 times until he was finally defeated, so on top of his insane durability, he was still able to push himself to the absolute limit by giving his spear as much blood as he needed to on 3 separate occasions. In other words, he had to worry about his own blood supply as much as he had to worry about Chin, and not only that, Hades is fighting against Chin using Alvatyr, the Valkyrie who specializes in high tier defense and optimized Chin's martial arts, so the fact that he was able to successfully damage Chin twice with Ichor Eos should speak for his strength alone. So when it comes to strength and durability, I'm gonna be honest, I think Hades just has the better feats here, right? Because in terms of strength, Hades was able to outperform Chin, who should have been on equal ground because of Alvatyr, and to be fair, Chin made the fight extremely competitive regardless, but if we're talking about just raw power, Hades just had more of it than Chin, despite how strategic he was to use Hades' strength against him to his advantage and then win the fight. And it's only an assumption at best to say if Hajun could do the same against Chin. I mean, we do see Hajun destroy Buddha's 6 realm staff towards the end of their fight, but I just have no idea if something like Blaze of Glory could overwhelm Chin's armor form like like Persephone Titan did. And if we're talking about Hajun's demon drill, then I guess it could be a problem, but in my opinion, it seems like Blaze of Glory is the more destructive attack. It was able to destroy Buddha 6's realm staff completely, while his demon drill only pierced through Buddha's shield and took out his left eye. So I think his demon drill could massively damage Hades if it landed, but his durability is just so rock solid. It's hard to imagine it leaving any lasting damage that complicates things for the rest of their fight, because like we saw with Chin's halberd form, Hades still managed to keep the fight going, even taking off one of Chin's arms in the process, so there's no way I can see his demon drill coming close to ending the fight. Now, the real issue would have to be Blaze of Glory, which was strong enough to shatter Buddha 6's realm staff, but if I'm giving Hajun the benefit of the doubt here and supposing it lands, even then I don't think it's enough to straight up end the fight. If anything, it's his durability that would be the biggest problem, so maybe Hades has to use Desmos 2 or 3 times to finally finish the fight and defeat Hajun. So this is it, guys. I think I'm just gonna have to go with Hades here on this, and it sucks that we didn't get to see more from Hajun. I'm sure there's a lot left to be desired, but just going off from the information that we currently have, I'm gonna have to take Hades on this. But alright guys, this is gonna be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like always, if you want to see more Record of Ragnarok, then make sure you subscribe to stay updated. I'll be doing more here like always. But before I end the video, I just want to give a very special thanks to the channel's patrons: Iron, Justin, Nix, EXP, Paranormal Beluga, Jedi Knight 104, and Ped Yuko. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I cannot say it enough, and like always, if you're interested, you can sign up too and get into the monthly Q&A I do here on the channel. I'll be posting the next one up sometime at the start of October, so from now until the end of September, feel free to consider joining. You'd also be helping me out a lot here in a massive way and get a special shout out like this in every single video. The link will be in the description below, or you could just search it yourself at patreon.com/Izanami. But other than that, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I would greatly appreciate it, and feel free to comment down below what your thoughts are, anything you agreed or disagreed with, and yeah, have a great day.